Hello, guys. So this is going to be kind of an impromptu show. Just look like this, but I am excited to be wearing my Matt Strickland shirt. Save Virginia, that's right. But so I've been trying to do this all weekend, actually since Thursday, because a lot of people don't understand what I said, what NAEP is, why that there was a man from the Nation's report card in front of the Board of Education on Wednesday giving a presentation on NAEP and the standards that were a complete lie because he gave a report on 8th grade scores in 2019 when we haven't tested 8th grade since 2007. So there were a lot of things that I was on the news talking about the transgender. I'll just call it an issue. But there was so much more that I said in those 5 minutes. The last 3 minutes were probably 2 minutes were probably besides the 21 books in Chesterfield County for 5-year-olds. So that's why when the buzzer kept going off, I just kept going. Unlike a school board meeting, they won't turn you off. But is real quick, I just want you guys to see. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna present. Hold on. As you can see, I just decided to jump on here, which is why things were chaotic like this. Okay, and it's telling me I have a virus, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So I guess it's scanning. That's great. Just what I need right now. So if you go to the YouTube channel, go to VDOE, you can just type that in. And so the business meeting is always Thursday, and the day before they always have a work session. Just like school board meetings, you want to see what's going on in the work session, the presentations that are being done. So the morning of Thursday morning, because I was going, I pulled up the VDOE meeting.
So it's
because I had seen and I had printed the night before that they were presenting on NAEP, which was interesting to me because this is the nation's report card. This is, again, how is the nation getting all the information? That's a different topic. How do I close this? Go away. Okay. So, and then it usually has like, I think it's to deter people from watching. It brings like 20 minutes of nothing. So then he finally comes on.
You will be the first to actually run successfully, but you could give it a try. No, no, sorry, we don't do long intro comments. I would also note that Dr. Davis,
take the mask off for pictures and then put it back on for the desk.
Due to medical issues. Pam, hope you're doing well.
So thank you for that concise introduction.
Oops.
So I'm again Mark Schneider. I'm the director of the Institute of Education Sciences. We have a rather large portfolio, and one of the things.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead.
Question. Thank you, Mr. Rotherham, for breaking the wall.
The fourth
starting.
wall.
Yeah. So I think at least a couple of our Northern Virginia districts, and maybe Virginia, which is also a large district, might qualify.
This is Ann Holton, Tim Kane's
what's
wife,
the process?
speaking.
I mean, do they have to opt in? Do they have to pay?
And then we have to find the resources to make it happen.
Do we, the state pay the fee?
No.
The locality pays the fee?
So that the problem is that we're running out of money for TUDA. So we need more money.
So real quick, TUDA is a new testing that they're doing, and he's talking about funding. They want more funding to do more testing, is what he's talking about here.
The Congress to expand the TUDA assessment, because there are many more urban districts, large urban districts that should be included. And I'll show you well, maybe I should just show you the map now.
But so somebody in your agency makes the decision on who to include in TUDA.
Well, there's a map. I don't know if you could see it. But you could see, so the Northwest is empty. The West, which is pretty much, the northern part, including Wyoming, are small. So they don't have districts that compare. that could work. But you could just see some of these districts in North Carolina. There are several, right? Guilford County,
So tomorrow, he says in here, the 2021 scores will be out. He says in here. So that just while I'm thinking about it. So here, it looks like TUDA scores, which is something, it's urban districts is what something or another. This is the first time I've heard of it, so I will have to dig into it. So you can see that here under all of this, the Baltimore, Cleveland have TUDA yet. And so that's why he's talking about we need funding to bring TUDA scores, more scores. But let me see.
And they're carefully determined by the National Assessment Governing Board. The biggest problem, so in 2002, under the No Child Left Behind Act, what happened was that
No Child Left Behind, he brings that in because what's interesting is that this man here, Bill Hansen, he was Little Bush's SecEd when No Child Left Behind was brought in, which Obama tripled down on with Every Student Succeeds, which has led us to the SEL nightmare that we have now. So that's what's interesting here is that No Child Left Behind, W's assistant, which is now on Youngkin's VDOE with No Child Left Behind. And one day I'll be able to get to this man, Andrew Rotherham, that I have about 8,000 Podesto Clinton administration and literally the man who created 21st century skills back in 1998. So
we focused three math and reading and of testing in math and reading 4th and 8th grade was set up, and we focused on proficient. But the real problem is not, and the No Child Left Behind Act, as you may remember, the student was in the nation was supposed to be proficient by 2014, right? That was never going to happen. It was more than an aspirational goal. It was, well, let's leave it that way. It was an aspirational goal. And of course, hardly anybody met it. I don't know if anybody met it. But the real problem is, and the last at IES, I've been trying to, and I think successfully, shift proficiency and advanced to below basic, right? So the below basic are and there's a large range below basic, but essentially if you're below basic in reading and below basic in math, below basic in science, there's not a lot you could do.
What about app basic? Is that,
I'm sorry, what?
What about app basic? Are you on
Listen up
track
here.
for college and career at the basic level, or is the proficient level
Well,
and
we've
above?
done, actually, I did a study today working with Todd on that. So it's complicated. There's no direct pathway between the levels. So we don't have grade level proficiency. One of the things, I mean, I know that in states, proficient usually means grade or grade. NAEP doesn't have anything that's like that. So it's just mastery, the level of mastery. So I'm trying to remember, I did the work with Todd.
Todd is.
But if you're proficient, you have a good chance of getting into college and through college, right? It's not 100%. None of these scores are 100%.
Keep in mind, nobody in this nation is proficient, but he just says that.
Right.
I mean, would you say basic like a red flag? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Below basic, unbelievable red flag, right? And what's happening with below basic is that the percentage of students who are below basic is growing. And if we look at, and again, I'll just show you some Virginia data in a minute. If you look at Black and Hispanic below basic, especially Black below basic, it is huge numbers. So this is the kind of things when people talk about gaps, that's why, I mean, so sometimes we just talk about gaps in terms, but the biggest issue is the percentage of students that are below basic by race. And again, in a minute, I'll just show you some of the numbers. Okay,
Sorry.
so we do writing test, which is very difficult to do.
So here was, if you're below proficient, you pretty much can't do anything, which caught my attention first because I know if you read the Dishonesty Gap report put out, which is what it's now called, if you go to the last page, these numbers that I show you that has Virginia dead only below proficient is in Youngkin's Dishonesty Gap report. You just have to go to the end. So a lot of people, when I started showing them these numbers, people were like, well, where did you get that? I didn't know that he had even put it in there. It was after the fact that I went in and saw at the very last pages that he had put in appendices of, and he used the NAEP report that has Virginia as the only state below proficient. Yes, below Mississippi. Yes, below everybody else that they want to say, well, we can't below. Well, sorry, we are. But let me pull that up for you. But I first want to show you. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. 1 second. So while I'm looking for this, crap. All right, I'll just show you on my screen. Okay, because I have the papers in front of me. So I'll go old school. So in his presentation, which maybe on the video, because you guys, all this stuff is available on the web, just like school board uses board docs. Everything that I show y'all, it's on the VDOE site. Hello, Windy USA. So how I found, so I typed in VDOE meeting, and it goes to Virginia Department of Education public meetings. And so it has, you can go back and all this stuff is archived. So let's see. It's where because I have to tell people how to sign up to speak. So all that stuff. So you can go back through and see the videos. But right here, so the work session, I went through each and every single one of these. And so here, this is that he presented. Okay, so we'll have to find Mark Schneider, director. Now, IES is because when you search for directed to the Institute of Education Sciences. Okay, so that picture of the statewide longitudinal database that I posted a couple of days ago that showed how Virginia's all of the data, what states it goes to, that comes through the Institute of Education Sciences that comes to the U.S. Department of Education. So that's how all this ties together. So he goes through and he talks about, you know, what is NAEP and his blah, blah, blah. Below basic, and advanced. Results are reported by different racial, ethnic, free, and reduced price lunch status. That's the Department of Agriculture. So there, it's not just back to the data. It's not just education. The Department of Labor gets our children's data. The Department of Agriculture, because of lunch, gets our children's data. Disability and English language learners, enabling analysis of achievement gaps. What's interesting is that in that entire presentation, he never once mentioned the special education children of this state. And this is becoming a major issue. If you guys have not paid attention, for decades, special education parents have been taking people to court, taking kid divisions to court, going broke, losing their shirts off their back to try to get their children appropriate. When they get millions and millions and millions of dollars in IDEA funds, that are stolen from these children. Go back to the meeting from the day after on the 20th and see the amount of SPED parents that should have had their story told on the news. Not my little quote, not the transgender part. Nobody, but that man never won. He wants to talk to somebody else who has an achievement gap. Who has the only marginalized group that anybody in this state should be talking about? The special education children. So that was my, now I'm all red because I'm hot, basically. So here, this caught me. I said, how is he talking about 2019 grade 8 math? That doesn't make any sense. Because, and I'm going to see, and then it went on, and see right here, he says, Virginia State grade 8 math snapshot. And then right here, it says, right here, grade 4. Okay. So it was like, yes, he's lying. And I'm going to try one more time to pull up, and I don't know why it's not letting me pull up my files, but let's try it again, because that's where I have all my NAEP stuff scored. Oh, here it is. Wait, maybe. But understanding how numbers and work has been something. So all of this stuff I already had saved. I just had to pull it up when I saw that NAEP was being discussed. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this old school way. Sorry, I have so much data on here. Whoa, there you go. Oops, not working. All right. What was it called? Here we go. All right. Hold on. Okay. What should I give you? This is another thing that you can find if you are proud of workforce-driven education. Proud as can be. It is something, and you know, I blasted Amy Guidera last month because their North Star for education excellence. This was something that we also forgot when we were parents for Youngkin, parents matter. Well, we didn't actually ask for a definition of education excellence. And last month's VDOE meeting, I held the microphone up because according to Youngkin and Guidera, excellence in education, now you have to understand a North Star is the highest, is what you reach for. It is your goal. Their North Star is to give every child the ability to earn, listen to the words they say, a family supporting wage. Should that be a goal? Absolutely. Would not want it to be. Hear them say our North Star. Okay. Not, hey, how about let's get children read grade level? That would be a wonderful North Star. Education excellence in Virginia. No, it's so they can earn a family supporting wage. Okay. Should all children be able to graduate being able to support a family? But what is a family supporting wage? And should that be your North Star? 1, no. 2, a whole bunch of stuff about citizenship and democracy and a bunch of whole globalist socialism yammer through Amy Guidera's mouth. And then number 2 was, what was it? No, I'm drawing a blank. why can't I think of it? I just had them all. I used to be able to, let's just watch it. How about that? So that I know it comes across a lot better when it's not my mouth doing the talking. So I want you guys to hear what I shared in the mic. I want you to watch her say it herself. I've done a show on this before. What is that damn group called? Oh, where are you, Amy? God, you could just search her name and find out everything you want to know about her. I mean, in all honesty. Boom, 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 boom. Hold on. Let me see what the group's called. Sorry. This is what happens when I go on the fly, because when I try to put shows together, I get really anal about it and I end up not doing anything. So hang tight with me 1 second and I will tell you what you need to know. And I will bring up Miss Guidera. But I do everything on my phone. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that. And therefore, when I get on my computer, it's like being in the land because I have no idea what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Wow, I follow a lot of people on YouTube. Did they pull that video down? Did they pull that channel down is the question. They may have pulled the channel down. Which would be... Oh, nope, there it is. It'll be worth it, I promise. Oh, there's Winsome. We're going to scroll past Winsome. Winsome and not being able to describe what a lab school is, but she's all for it. Sorry. So this is a channel that I found, and it's very enlightening. So.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So America Enterprise Institute does do some things, but like any group, any special interest group, they are not all the way conservative Republican values like people want us to believe. Because so just to clarify that just because something has AEI attached to it, that doesn't mean it's something like. There's certain people within AEI that blow my mind, stuff that they report on. But so here's Ms.
discussion before we move into Q&A. So I'd like to thank once again Secretary Guidera for joining this event and Rick and his team for putting it together.
So thank you. Thank you to the entire AEI team for what you do to ensure that the words that I get to read in the morning when I walk into the office, to make sure that they're not just a historic artifact. And here's a fun fact. My great new office doesn't just overlook the Capitol and the Executive Mansion, but it's actually in the old Library of Virginia building. And there are from 4 Virginians who went on to be US presidents. And my favorite of these quotes is one from Thomas Jefferson. Free inquiry and reason are the natural enemies of error. Let me read that again. Inquiry and reason are the natural enemies of error. These words are not just decoration at the top of our office building. They are the foundation for Governor Youngkin's education agenda. I'm so pleased to be with you today to provide an overview of our vision, our priorities, and our goals. And I'm honored and delighted, really honored and really delighted to be a part of the governor's team as he works to make Virginia the best place to live, to work, and to raise a family. This call, we all know that for that goal to become a reality, Virginia also needs to be the best place to learn. So everything that we do in the next 4 years in the Youngkin administration will be guided by our North Star to prepare every single learner for success in life, in our economy, our democracy, and in our communities. Everything we do in education will be shaped by this goal. And how will we know we'll be successful in the long term? We have 3 benchmarks we're going to use. One, graduates of Virginia education institutions will be hired into family wage supporting jobs, and they'll be actively engaged and productively engaged in civic life. Two, companies will be attracted to, remain in, and grow in the Commonwealth due to the quality of the talent pool. And three,
companies will come here because of our talent pool. If you missed that. Companies, that's the goal. That's their North Star for education excellence. Companies will come here because of our talent pool. Our children are human capital.
three, the Virginia economy will grow.
Education
One of the most
goal.
shocking parts about my introduction into this job is the reaction that the Commonwealth, so many people in the Commonwealth, governor's goal of restoring excellence to education.
Listen.
Members of the General Assembly, our education associations and institutions, and the media want to continue to extol.
Okay. All right. So the General Assembly is stoked. The education associations are stoked. And the media are so excited. Did you hear anything about parents matter, parents matter, parents matter? Did you hear anything about the children? How many times did she mention the workforce, economy, when she's talking about education? Because that's why all of this is so important, is because none of this is about our children. Not one single part of it is about our children getting educated. So because, let's see. So while searching the Virginia Department of Education website, I just wanted to show you they're on there. 2009, defining a 21st century education. Okay, these are things that when they started talking about all of this stuff years ago, years and years and years and years ago, the same language. How is the world? So this has been going on. This has been planned forever. And then, let me see. I do want to show you, and if it will let me. Where is this stored is the question. I should start being able to sing. Here we go. So, the wonderful Institute of Education Sciences. These would be, and guys, you can look this, people are like, okay, where did you find that? Okay, so the reason I've stopped sharing all the information is because I would have never learned anything that I've learned if I had been spoon-fed it. So you know where to go now. You can type in Mapping State Proficiency Standards on the NAEP scale 2019 Reading Math Technical Notes. And so it goes through all the history of NAEP back through ESEA in 1965. And it goes to data tables. And this is what I had, what was one of the images that caught my eye. So it goes through, and this would be grade 4 reading and math, reading math, grade 4. Reading math, grade 8. Every state that has it, because you can see that we're not the only state that doesn't test in 8th. And then, so right here, so the report that he gave that caught my eye, because I already knew that we did not test, much less in 2019, but at all, for math in 8. So how is this man going to give a presentation that gives you the grade 8 math snapshot for 2009, which right here it says grade 4. So we have a big problem when we have federal people from the Institute of Education Sciences, from the Department of Education, coming to the Virginia Board of Education, giving reports that are false and lies. Problem. I think I need to. So then we can go to this one. So this would be the one where I pulled the number, the images. This is where Youngkin got his images if you pull up his Dishonesty Gap report. So Youngkin, in the back of him and Guidera's report, this is it. So right here, grade 4 reading standards. All right. Here's Virginia. Okay. Basic is 208. 208. Proficient is 238. That means that we've got about Tennessee, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, and Illinois are probably the closest to proficient. There's nobody above proficient in the whole nation, first of all. And then down here, we're not even basic. We are dead last, which Youngkin did acknowledge in his report. But here, while one state has standards below the NAEP, Virginia, below NAEP, right there. And even has this, look at the standard of error. Even with that huge standard of error, still dead last. What Youngkin didn't include was the fact that, so this would be from 2009, there were 10 states and 4 that were below basic. In 10 years, 1 state, Virginia, below basic. Okay. And like I said, I'm just going to blow through this to give you all a little understanding of what I'm talking about. And then how this ties together with what you need to start asking your legislators when Virginia did this and why we're still failing if we look at these numbers, because it's the piece that Youngkin did not include in this that I'm going to show you that you need to stay tuned for. So then we go to grade 4 math. That would be Puerto Rico down here, just so you know. We are just barely basic. Like, imagine what it says when somebody calls you basic. You're basic. But we're still dead last for all 50 states. So just real clear that we are still dead last, and that's reading. I'm sorry, that's math. That's math. And notice there's no report for grade. Oh, this is reading. Okay, so now we're going to go to see no 8th grade, no reading, no math for 8, but he did a report on it for the Board of Education on Wednesday. And so then we go to grade 8 reading. Grade 8 reading, 243 is basic. Here we are, right here. Okay. While one state, Virginia, has one state below basic. Look how far we are from the 49th state. Okay. Boop. And then they all kind of, but here we are. And then here, it talks again, like about the 2009 to 2019. So in 2009, 16 states were below basic. Right here, one state had 8 grade reading standards that were below NAEP basic in 2019. Who would that be? Us. There were 16 states below basic 10 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry, not 10 years ago. In this 10-year gap in 2009. There were 16 states. Keep that in mind. Be important in a minute. And in 2019, one state, Virginia, Not even below proficient, below basic. Basic. Okay. States are below proficient. We're below basic. So imagine calling somebody basic and then imagine being 10 to 15 points below that person. Because if you go back and watch the beginning of this show or go to the VDOA channel, the man from NAEP, the Institute of Education Sciences, said it himself. If you're below proficient, below basic, you pretty much can't do anything. He said it himself. If you're just now jumping on, you can rewind it, but I encourage you to go watch the whole thing on the VDOE channel. And then we've got 2019 grade 8 math. He did a report on it, but where's Virginia? We're not there because we didn't take them. We haven't taken them since 2007. Oh, but look, he did a report. Look, he did a report on it. Well, how did he do a report if we didn't take it? Because the report, he used grade 4. This is the Virginia Board of Education that the Department of Education is reporting to last Wednesday. Last Wednesday. Yes, they know it. So when you have the Department of Education reporting to the Board of Education in our state, blatant lies and falsifying reports, and yes, I've spoken to members that are new appointees on the board, and they are shocked. Now, what that means, I don't know. So let's just remember, here's grade 8 math. Oh, Virginia's not on it. So then we'll go on. And just to solidify the point of how long it's been since we took, let's go to grade 8 math. Let's go to grade 8 math that he did the report on. Look, oh, nope. 2009, didn't take it. 2017, didn't take it. 2019, didn't take it. So how in the world is this man going to come here? Can I go backwards? I'm going to bring it up again because I can't go backwards. Just real quick. I'm going to give her a state comparison chart with Virginia that we were up 6 points in grade 8 math in 2019 when we haven't taken it. This isn't a full 2009. And now I'll show you the full 2017. Didn't take it. 2009. Didn't take it. 2019. Didn't take it. So how in the world is this man going to give a report on a state comparison when we haven't taken it since 2007? See, Young can put all this stuff. If you pull up his dishonesty, he put this in. You know, he put these charts in. The honesty gap that we were last. He didn't. They were stuck in the back. But the point is that we have a major problem. Again, I will reiterate. When the Institute of Education Sciences, the department who is run by FedEd, comes to our state to give a presentation to our Board of Education on how we compared to the rest of the nation, and then wants to start talking about how race mattered, how poverty mattered. Yes, all of that matters, but the fact is that it was all a lie. And there were people that were recording from the back while you were watching me being recorded from this side that have their expressions when I told them that. So the question now is, who's going to help me hold them accountable? So let's just skip real quick over. Let's find out this man. Let's find his information. Here we go. So this is his email, mark.schneider@ed.gov. And I will be glad to share all the links to all of this stuff for you to send him and ask him, how dare you come and lie and then file a report? I don't know. We have moms here that probably know, is it an OCR report? Something. Fraud, that would be my first guess, would be to contact Miaraz's office and file a fraud report. That would be my first guess. And then the last thing I want to show you guys, and I don't know if it's going to pull up. I don't think it is because it's Google Workspace. Crap. Hold on. Yeah, it's like I'm pulled up. So I will just show you guys on my phone. Let me see if it'll let me. Hold on 1 second. Because all this stuff, if you go to the nation's report, NAEP, and then educate, it'll automatically route you to the Institute of Education Sciences, IES. Let me see if it will let me send it to myself. I want y'all to see just how long it's been since we took grade 8, because I just want to drive home to y'all how much of a lie this is, that he came in and he did this. And I don't know if it's going to let me. I don't think it is. Okay, I saw myself the picture. Don't go anywhere. This is important. I'm going to have, oh, I know what I can do. I'm going to send the picture that I had that I showed the Board of Education. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, working on the fly here. Got to think quick on my feet. Yeah, it's not right. So, and again, people are like, well, where do you get this from? I mean, it's there. I don't save the links when I save the PDFs. So let's click out of here and I will just show you all the picture. So I have this document that it's not letting me pull up at the moment, and it breaks down what we just saw, and it's their own spreadsheet. Done, and you can click on grade 4 and get the score, and then you can click on grade 8. Well, right here, you can see the last time we took grade 8 proficiency standards for mathematics was in 2007. Right here. All this blank here, because he just did a report on how we, right here, I highlighted this for the Board of Education in case there was any, these years that they tested. No test. How are you going to give a report, Mark Schneider, from the state comparison, how we compared in grade 8 math, when we haven't taken it since 2007? So is this a big deal to some people? No. But yeah, it is a huge deal, because it's yet again contributing to the lie that why our children are failing. And as I said at the Board of Education meeting, they are failing because of the standards of learning. You can go back and you can look and you can see when we started to fail is when they brought in Common Core, which was the standards of learning. That's when our children started to fail. Hold on. I gotta see what the document's called that I need to pull up. Last thing, and then I gotta go because I'm decided to use my fancy vinyl machine and make Halloween costumes. Like I have time to do that. But nope. Oh, I'm so strange. Sorry. Is it? Yep. Sorry. Sing along with me. I'll be right there. I'm coming. Clicking on the wrong thing. Got it. All right, hang on. And this is what I told the board. What is it called? Here we go. This document here, God blessed me into finding it. Sorry, it's Word. That's just how it downloaded. So this you can look up. It's called the SOL History 1998 through 2013. Historical Overview of Standards of Learning. It is an absolute bipartisan how they destroyed it, how they acknowledged they destroyed education and kept going anyway. From George Allen to Gilmore to Kane to McDonnell, I just want to be clear that this has been a bipartisan effort. The difference being is that you tossed equity in, and one side was like, "Whoa, okay, then you toss equity in, then sure." Normally, the liberals would hate this, hate everything about standardized testing and the drive for testing to teach. But you toss equity in there, cool, we're down. So it goes into Mark Warner. It goes on. It goes on. I mean, it literally gives you the full, and they did it themselves. I didn't put this together. And it goes into, you know, how scores progressed, how they didn't progress. But it was this one little piece right here that caught my attention. And so in 2007, they had started to prepared to carry out legislatively mandated reviews of standards of learning in mathematics and English. The VDOE wanted to study factors contributing to success in post-secondary education. Okay. They've even gotten rid of college now. It's not even college and career readiness. It's post-secondary. They don't even consider college. A bipartisan effort reform organization, Achieve. If you don't know about Achieve, you need to look them up. So here, this is what I read. So this would be in 2009. By shifting its focus from grade level competency, okay, to college career readiness. This was in 2009. They admit that they shifted from grade level competency to college career readiness. Yet here we are every day with more legislation, with more everything driving home workforce-driven education. And so from 2009, when they implemented, this is where it ties together, from 2009, when they implemented college and career readiness. Remember that NAEP score, we became the only state, not just not proficient, but not basic, below basic. We became 50th out of 50 states since 2009 when they switched from grade level competency to college and career readiness, which has now become post-secondary college. They're actually discouraging children not to go to college. Okay, so I just want to be clear that it's not all children don't need to go to. No, they don't. But they should all be encouraged that it's a wonderful thing to do. And if they choose not to, that's their choice. So if you think your child, if your child is taking in Chesterfield County, the exploratory, and they're taking one on career, pull that up. I was shocked before I pulled my child out at what they were teaching her. I thought about like careers, call out, no, It was all about vocation, technical school, why they should not go to college. It was mind blowing. And then, so the whole Common Core thing, real quick. So after taking office in 2010, Bob McDonnell signaled his support for increasing the rigor of the SOL program as Virginia came under pressure from the U.S. Department of Education to replace the SOLs with the newly developed Common Core standards. This is where it comes in. McDonnell said, "We can't go back," he told Washington Post. "We've been working at this for 15 years. That was in 2010. Subtract 15 years. That would make it when? At least 1995. But it was before that. It was actually 1988, Bush and Clinton in Charlottesville. Look that up. That's fun. And then it said, the following month, the Board of Education reaffirmed its commitment to the SOL program and opposition to adopting the Common Core as a prerequisite for participation in federal competitive grant programs. That would be great, wouldn't it? But the standards of learning are clear and rigorous, have won the acceptance and trust of Virginia educators. Really? Did they? I would love an educator from 2010 to come forward and tell me that the SOLs in 2010 had educator love. The board said in a unanimously approved resolution, whatever adjustments, here's the key, whatever adjustments might be warranted to ensure alignment of the SOL with the Common Core state standards can be made within the process through which the Board of Education exercises its constitutional authority to establish standards for the Commonwealth's public schools. That there is key, because who has the constitutional authority to establish the standards? Youngkin and Miares, who wants to blame the history standards on Northam's radical department. I've been saying this all along. The constitutional authority lies in the Board of Education to establish the standards for the Commonwealth's public schools, period. And then the last thing is that, so Patricia Wright, who succeeded Kennedy, you need to know who these people are, during the Kane administration, was reappointed by McDonnell. Okay, so we've got a problem because you've got Javeed Siddiqui, who's now running the CEO of the Hunt Institute, who was Bob McDonnell's Secretary of Education. And then he was the Midlothian District school board member, Republican school board member, while CEO of the Hunt Institute in North Carolina. If you don't know what the Hunt Institute is, you should look it up. Glenn Davis knows who the Hunt Institute is, and that's even more scary. Let's see, who else has been fellows at the Hunt Institute real quick. Let's see, Louise Lucas, LeVar Stoney, Mark Herring, Jillian Balow, and now Javeed Siddiqui, while a Republican. Oh, Phil Corn. Yeah, that's another good one. So if you don't know what the Hunt Institute is, you need to look it up because it's a huge part in the destruction of Virginia and why the incestuous relationship between Virginia and North Carolina is just that. It's incestuous. So problem here is that Patricia Wright, who was in the Kane administration, and then McDonnell, who had Javeed Siddiqui, so somebody who was part of the Kane administration and then was reappointed by McDonnell to be the Secretary of Education, that's a dinger right there. She warned that the transition to more rigorous standards would lead to short-term decline in pass rates. Short-term. This was in 2010. Oh, I'm sorry, 2011. She warned that it would lead to short-term declines. This was 13 years ago. Okay. And then she goes on to say, but we must not become alarmed or discouraged, as we must not give in to temptation to preserve the status quo when we know in our hearts We must raise standards for young people to remain competitive in the 21st century. I'm going to give you the same look that I gave Glenn at Gourmelt's the other night. If you can't read that, so lawmakers, if you were warned in 2011, and if you're a lawmaker and you haven't read this and you are voting on education policy that you don't understand, stop it. I work 16 hours a day. Call me. I'll explain it to you. Because if you're stupid or you're swamp swimming, make your legislators understand so that they can no longer be stupid. Because then if they continue with the agenda, they are now swamp swimming. Because once they have the knowledge, because a lot of them are not. A lot of us have trusted that big, pretty R in front of the name. The R was all that mattered. Red? Okay. Red, good. Red, good. Blue, bad. Blue, bad. Okay. So we need to get over that. Because the destruction of our children's education, yes, it is racist. Yes, it is grooming them from one side. But the actual brain portion of it, that's from the other side. So you have two political parties with two completely separate agendas destroying education at the same time, and neither of them will do anything about it because they're not fighting each other. No, none of them are actually going hard against the stuff that they should be fighting against because they're being allowed to pursue their own agenda. So you have 100% of legislators destroying 100% of Virginia's children. Period. So the Republicans, the right, attacks the left for the lunacy regarding the grooming and transing of our children. And the left, who traditionally hates data, standardized testing because it's racist, especially here in Virginia, it's stupefying, if that's a word, that we have nobody, even people like Elizabeth Warren, hate data collection because it targets transgender children. Because of all of this stuff flagging children for everything they do inside the computers. But here in Virginia, there's a major problem because we've been quiet for so long that the bipartisanship of this is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely. So as we are entering into election season, I suggest that you sit down with your legislators that you know or might not know. Call them. I want to meet with you. I am your constituent. I want to know your opinion on education policy. I look at I've said this to friends of mine that are delegates or senators. You have 21st century skills on your education page. Do you know what that is? Do you know what you voted on? Do you know the history of it? Are you going to continue after I tell you? Because once you've given them the knowledge to get elected, if they get elected, or to even this next legislative season, to not do the same thing, especially ones that are seeking to go up and become senators. I met with 6 delegates in 1 week. The amount 2 of the 6 were shocked at what I told them. The others were like, yep, SEL. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's social engineering. Did you really just acknowledge that to me? Yeah, they did. Different story, different day. But it's time to start writing your legislators and asking them. Because, guys, you don't have to if you think that I'm against vocation. I'm not. I think it's great. I wish I had known that there were other things out there for me to do besides go to college. But that wasn't the case. And that's not the case now. They're not adding it in. They have slowly taken out the academics, as they told you in this document. Anybody jumping on one last time? So by shifting it's focused from grade level to college and career readiness. That would be in 2009. Okay. 2009, they shifted focus from grade level competency. We are in what year? Almost to 2023. And yet, Ms. Patricia Wright said in 2011, warned state lawmakers that the transition to more rigorous standards would lead to short-term declines in pass or state and on state tests. Short-term. I'm sorry, but I don't think that over a decade later, becoming the only state, I'll pull that up for you real quick. This makes my face hot. Let's see, which one is it? Oh, I think it was this one. Sorry. Yep, here we go. Grade 4 reading, 2019. Oh, those short-term declines, Patricia. So glad those short-term declines only lasted, and the new scores should come out tomorrow. So we'll see. Because I don't know but look, right here, while one state, Virginia, had below basic, okay? Proficient is nothing that you want to shoot for, again. But one state was below basic. Well below basic. But in 2009, here, there were 10 states below basic. 10. When we switched from grade level competency to college career readiness, and in that decade since, we have become the only state in grade 4 reading below basic, not even below proficient, below basic. Math, besides the fact that here's grade 4, there is no grade 8. So how did VD or NAEP man give them a presentation on state comparison 2019 grade 8 math when pretty sure that if you look it up, we haven't tested grade 8 math since 2007. So NAEP man, whose name is Mark.Schneider at ed.gov, how did you give a report on a state comparison when we haven't tested grade 8 math since 2007? How did you do that, Magic Man? And then right here, this was the best part. Virginia State grade 8 math nets. He didn't even try because people assume we're so stupid. And then right here, in this little teeny tiny writing, grade 4. Oh, but it's grade 8. But it's grade 4. And guys, like I said, I get this stuff under agenda. I looked up the agenda for the meeting. It's all right here. You just have to know. And unfortunately, they don't think we know, but I know. And now you know. This is a major problem, considering the fact that Youngkin put out a report, the Dishonesty Gap report, using those same images, and the fact that now everything is about college career readiness, workforce-driven education, that our children's job is to recover the economy, that their North Star is that they can earn a family-supporting wage, be members of a global citizenship in Davos, Switzerland, whatever, however you want to put it, is that now there's proof now that there's fraud, that there's decades and decades of corruption and collusion, and decades of evidence that they have been deliberately dumbing down our children. It's all right there. So again, here I am. I said it was me 30 minutes, but it's only an hour. So that's the long and short of it all. Tomorrow, I will put it all together in a much more concise version with links for you guys, and will be less searching and finding. But I did want to get this up here tonight because it's now Sunday, and I've been saying I was going to do it since Thursday. But this is the part when they got my cute little my rights don't end, where your feelings begin, in your pseudoscience that's destroying children, which is true. They left out the beginning part where it's called the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Feelings. That I would have preferred if they had put that in there. But there was so much more in that 5 minutes in that one little clip. And again, go watch this report, because this man never mentions the epic failure of this state on the special education children. Nobody does. Nobody. It's all about color. It's all about color of your skin. It's all about your economic status in relation to the color of your skin, because to these people, there are no poor white people. It's all about the failing of transgender children, and, you know, it's all about English learners. I mean, they will even talk about migratory students, which I think Virginia, the percentage is so, I mean, it's like 18. I don't even know, but they literally don't talk about the special education children you want to talk about. Their scores were this low, and then since COVID have become this low. But since they've already always been low to start with, do they just not matter? My correlation in my brain is that they're not deemed worthy for the Virginia workforce to become part of the labor pool. And that's why nobody's ever cared about them. It's the only conclusion I can come to, considering the amount of parents across this state over decades that have been begging to have their special education children, I don't know, maybe even just evaluated. And the billions of dollars that they get for IDEA that goes to everything but these actual children is the only thing I can come to, is that long ago they deemed that these aren't, you know, alphas and betas. They're going to be, you know, whatever. So they'll just get whatever. And people literally, every school board meeting, not local, statewide, parents begging, never responded to. Take them to court. You have corruption officers. There's so much wrong with this state. And the fact that our governor is out stumping for other people, other than being here and being a governor and governing. Because his response about the books, here's the thing, at Gourmelt's the other night, was, you know, I just really want it. This is the governor that he wants to empower parents to push back. Very legal, Glenn. Read the 23 pages of obscenity codes. Very legal. And you want to, as governor that we elected to protect our children on the back of a transgender rape victim, parents matter, parents matter, parents for Youngkin. You want to empower parents to push back against the droves of transgender books for 5-year-olds that are in our schools. Bravo. And any of you out there still drinking the Kool-Aid, congratulations. You're now contributing to the destruction, because you won't open your eyes to see the truth. That's the way it is. And I'm not going to be politically correct about it. I'm not going to be nice to try to save the Republican brand, as somebody put it to me one day. What brand is that? Because if you still think that there's one party bad, one party good, no. You could run on one party and actually restore that party to the actual party's political and spiritual, which we also don't talk about, values. You can run. I'm not saying that all Republicans are bad. I'm just saying that if you run as a Republican and you don't have Republican beliefs, Carrie Coyner, and you don't vote as a Republican with Republican beliefs, then you know what? Next time you need to actually admit who you are and run as a Democrat. Your buddy Javid Siddiqui did it. Do it. Own who you are. And the fact that the Chesterfield GOP won't call her back, call her out. She's not even a member. She lives here. She's a delegate in Chesterfield and is a member of the Richmond GOP. There's a problem there. But we don't want to unseat a red seat ever. Shame on you if that's the way you look at politics. And I guess I look at it that way because these are children that I fight for every day. I don't fight for gun rights. I don't fight for abortion. I fight for the education system. And so anybody that's not up to speed on the state of education in Virginia, especially running for office, you better get there. Because if I get there before you, we're going to have a problem. Happy Sunday. I'm out of here.